I wanted to welcome Brother André to the into the forest of flutes. And I also want to say this too, that these flutes, every culture has their own flutes. Every single culture on this planet has a flute of some kind that mirrors their culture or their philosophy, their spirituality, and all these other things. And one of the things that I thought I wanted to say about flutes, they fall into a category. Being an ethnomusicologist, flutes fall into the category of aerophones, and those are just instruments that take air, that you put in air into. So it takes into account flutes, also double reeds and other instruments that you blow, trumpets, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to be concentrating on the flutes of Brother André, the 3000. What an incredible honor this is to be able to listen to his music and to speak about it. And I hope he'll be honored that we will give him that type of respect that we choose to do for him.
And do you want to talk a little bit about ASM, brother, before we actually begin?
Yes, I wanted to read the ASM, Aesthetically Speaking, Music Vision Statement.
Okay.
And I think this would be good to put forth what we're all about. Many of our speakers, many people who have been with us for the last 4 years on our regular Zoom stations, they know about our vision, but I'm going to read it quickly so we can get an idea. The vision for ASM has a multi-layered purpose to incorporate and bring attention to the creative and ever-evolving musical cultures of African and African diasporic music. ASM allows people throughout the globe, through listening, research, and technology, to experience the historical, aesthetic, educational, and therapeutic values in music for all people. The vision of ASM will be valued by future generations as it helps to enlighten and educate underserved communities on the cultural values of musical expressions and its significance. Through videos, interviews, historic references, and discussions, ASM will attract listeners and seekers throughout the globe. The vision of ASM is to bridge generations. This is very important. To bridge generations that seem to be separated only by choice. By creating platforms in communities, schools, nursing homes, convalescent facilities, and correctional institutions. This is done through the therapeutic, educational, and aesthetic values instilled by the creators and those who continue to bear the cultural traditions. Ashe.
Okay, so let's dive into it. And the first section of our live stream is about flutes, as I just said. So I'm going to start with the CBS interview, and then Ralph, you can go on and talk about it and show your flutes and so on.
What is that again?
It's a Chinese gourd flute, like a Chinese halusi flute.
Where did you find it?
On Etsy.
You go shopping for flutes?
Yeah. Sometimes like the algorithm will send you ads for like flutes. So yeah, sometimes they're actually dope. So yeah, it's like I actually love it now. Like I want to know more about it.
Yeah. How many wind instruments do you have now?
I haven't counted, but I'd say maybe 30.
Each gives you a different sound, a different feeling?
Yes. Each one has its own. I mean, even if it's the same flute made by the same maker in the same key.
Yeah.
Each flute is its own kind of life, especially if it's wood, and most of them are wood.
Yeah.
They have this own life, like before I even grabbed it. But
yeah. What attracted you to the instrument?
The sound.
Yeah.
the sound. As soon as I heard it, I was not paying attention. And as soon as I heard the sound, my ears just kind of popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "What is this?" And I just had to know.
What did you like in the sound?
It was a humanness. There was an immediacy of getting sound. It was portable.
Well, like I said, I really want to welcome Brother André 3000 into the forest of flutes. And I think it's very interesting that he has chosen this path. In my many years, I've been playing different kinds of indigenous flutes from all over the world for many, many years. And to discover someone who is coming behind me, maybe I should say that, because there was someone that I followed as well. And I think what a blessing that is to have, hopefully that we can have a bridge between elder and youth. This is very important, especially in these days that our youth, and I consider André to be a youth in a sense, being younger than I am. But I think that it's important that the youth seek the elders and the elders seek the youth. I think these are very important things that need to be noticed and embraced in this music that especially this music. Let me say this too. One of the things that it delighted me about André 3000 is when he said something about the music cannot get any louder. And when he said that, I said, alas, what a wonderful statement. The music cannot get any louder, which shows you that there has been an effort to go back to more sensitive instruments and performing certain instruments in another kind of context rather than always having, how loud and everything being, loud guitars and loud instruments and, amplified. Everything is amplified all over the place. It can't go any further. So it shows that he's made an effort to go back to the sensitivity of these flutes that he's playing right now. How wonderful it is. I'm so honored to be able to speak about what I hear and what I see. And hopefully, we can, at some point, I can have conversation with André face to face. I think that would be, just wonderful, because we do have to have that bridge. I have a son about his age, and I know he's loved Outkast all his life, all his musical life, but he also knows about the indigenous flutes and other things from being around me and being around others as well. I should say some of his musical uncles, like Brother Yusuf Latif, who he has known since he was, a young child. But he's also seen these instruments that Yusuf had, and instruments that I've been collecting to for this time. So, I'll show one instrument. Maybe I can do that. This is a moan flute that was once possessed by Yusuf Latif. And it's an incredible instrument. It's made of bamboo and it has a hole, and you can change the tonalities of it. You can use it as a percussion, or you could play it as a moan flute. But this is one of the instruments that I certainly, one of my prized instruments that I love so much. In fact, all of the flutes, like André, I love these flutes. The instrument that he was playing at the beginning of his interview was a Chinese instrument, which I've had several of them, and it's called a uluse. Uluse. That's how they pronounce that in China. Uluse. Set. Uluse. And this is a smaller version of the one that he had, but this is one. And I've had several of these. I'm just honored to be here. I really am. I'm honored that we can make this our initial live stream, and we're going to be honoring a great, great, great young artist, André 3000. I'm so happy that he has joined, has changed, or has embraced another path in his musical career. I'm really glad to hear that. And I have also have many, 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 many flutes. I have so many I can't even bring them all out. But like I said, I hope that he and I can have a session together to talk about these things. But at any rate, we shall move on to Andre's. Oh, by the way, before we went into this, I've been doing some research on the names of flutes, and every culture has a different name for the flutes that they have in their culture. In the Japanese dagaku tradition, they have a double reed they call hishiriki, and the flute is a ryoteki, which is another kind of flute, which I have back here in the background. I'm not going to pull all these instruments out, but in Vietnam, they call the flute the ong sao. In Swahili, they call the flute filimbi, and Yoruba is pere, and in Arabic, they have the the aneu. My pronunciation may be a bit flawed, but excuse me for that. But this session here has opened me up to want to know even more about these flutes, or seeking more knowledge about these world flutes. Some of them which I have, and then some of them which I want to get into more deeply. I heard a Mongolian flute today, which is really extraordinary. And how many people hear the Mongolian flute, but these are how fascinating. I think I have a fetish for flutes. I'm going to say that.